Hello, happy Wednesday! Hi, replay viewers that are coming on in. Thanks for coming. Thanks for coming. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to New Teacher Talk Wednesdays. Welcome, 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 everybody coming in. Such a weird angle. I'll find an okay angle for my classroom. If the camera falls, I'm sorry. I need a tripod. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Come on in. Any new teachers out there, go ahead and feel free. Tap the Perry Buddy and ask people to join. Just to get started, I'm in my classroom. Is the reception okay, or is it cutting in and out? How is it? Because this morning I periscoped and like a huge chunk was like completely missing because I think it's stalled. Okay, it's good. Okay, well, welcome everybody in here. Again, tap that Perry Buddy and invite anybody who you feel would benefit from our New Teacher Talk Wednesdays talk. But thank you for joining me. I'm a little bit early-ish because I'm getting ready to leave here. I just finished making a giant graph on my wall and I'm ready to go. So I figured because I was so late last Wednesday, I would make up some time by being a little early this Wednesday. I don't think it works that way, but in my book it works. So, thank you for joining me. My name is Rochelle. I'm a first grade teacher in Arizona. I've been teaching for 4 years, and I started New Teacher Talk Wednesdays with the idea that when I was a first and second year teacher, I could have used somebody to talk to that would just tell me it was okay because they just went through it, instead of always talking to veteran teachers who had gone through it years before, and so they kind of forget how tough it is to get started. So I started this as a group to support the new teachers still in school, teachers student teaching, and brand new teachers to support us and to just be told that it happens and it's okay and that we all struggle and go through it. So go ahead, and if you have any questions throughout the Periscope, go ahead and you can add it in the comments below, and I will try to keep up. But if I don't answer it, I will try to go back and answer it later. Or the comments are amazing. People in the comments jump in and answer some of your questions as well with their advice. So we'll get started. Last week we were talking about not taking on the world. Like I said, last year I joined like 8 committees. My principal couldn't care less how many committees that I was a part of. He was like, go for it. And so I took on 8 committees on top of my classroom was very rowdy last year. And so I was like pulling my hair out. So we just spoke a little bit about taking on what you feel like you can handle. Start out kind of slow. You can ask around for committees, which ones are good ones to start off that are a little bit easier to be a part of, that don't, maybe they don't meet every single week, or it's not like, I know talent show for us is like 3 weeks of constant meeting and long hours because you're putting together the show and you're watching the acts, and it's a big, tough committee to be on. And you're welcome. And my first year I was on talent show, and so I was crazy at the end of the year because for 3 weeks it's like every single day I had a meeting and I had talent show and I had to do tryouts and thank you, all this stuff that I had to do. So don't take on the world. Take only what you can handle the first few years, and then tack on maybe a little something new every year and try it out. But don't just think, oh, my neighbor teacher does X, Y, and Z, so I need to do that too. Start out with what you can handle. So my piece of advice this week is to plan. You need to plan. And I'm still working on this. Clearly, I'm still at work, and it's almost 5. But I had to put a graph on my wall. I have the panel of 10 teachers coming tomorrow, and so I had to like tidy up a little extra than I normally do, because usually I'll keep a to-do pile on my table and with my sticky note that says this is stuff that I need to accomplish tomorrow morning. but I couldn't have that pile because I just didn't want to have to worry about that tomorrow morning when the teachers come and want to sit down. So you want to plan ahead so that way you don't have to stay late, or use your prep periods the best you can. For me, I try and grade things as they come in. And then I have a cheat sheet. Of course, I don't really have one here. Why would I have one right here? That would be insane. And I'm talking about planning. So we'll go get one. Yes, I have copies too. So if you plan ahead, I have these. And there's a big X on it because it lets me know that I've run out and I have to make more copies. Just in case you didn't know, bright yellow highlighter does not copy on copy machines. So I put X's, or I write master on my master copies because it won't copy on a copy machine. So, but I have my class roster. Here, I'll put this down. There we go. So I have my class roster right here. And then, so what I do, oh, I have one right here. I'm back! Okay. This is a different one. But what I do is I write what I was grading. So the first one was a subtraction test. I have time to the hour. I have 10 more. And then I have a true false. And so what I do is as I grade, I go down my roster and I write their scores down. So then when I go to my grade book, I can just type it in and then close out the grade. So just me planning, because I don't want to sit there and have all 4 of these tests stack up on me, where now I'm spending an hour and a half grading at the end of the day. I'm grading them as they come in. Stars mean that they got the whole thing right. So instead of writing 100, I just put a star. Circles mean that they struggled and that I should retest, or they were absent. So in this case, they were absent, and so I have to make them up. But it's easy for me to see, oh, okay, my Michael, he was absent, so I have to make up those tests for him. And then once the entire grade is closed out, I highlight the whole row, and it tells me that I've entered them and that everybody has a grade for it. So, and then I grade as I go. So today they just took true false, and it will take me 5 minutes to grade their true false. I write them all down, and then I enter it in my grade book. So I haven't entered yet. I've had meetings every day. I have one tomorrow after school too. But it's really quick to enter them down because I'm not looking at individual papers. I'm looking at their sheet down the line. I do plickers for true false. Girl, I'm all over plickers. My kids are obsessed with plickers. I'm doing plickers tomorrow for the 10 teachers that are coming in. I'm doing plickers with vocabulary tomorrow. So I do that, just planning ahead. It just helps me leave work on time. Did you see the score sheet feature? I got the email about it, that it's new. I have to check it out. But I'm excited. I want to see more of the data and stuff from it. I see the graphs. That's a different scope. I'm all over plickers. I'm about to teach my whole school about plickers. I'm so excited. Plickers and Kahoot are like the 2 big ones that I'm excited to teach the school because they're so much fun. But yes, doing this just helps you plan ahead so you don't have to stay late and not to take grading home your first year. Okay, my first year, I came home with stuff every single day, like a backpack. I used to have a backpack filled with my stuff and my laptop, and now I bring home like a basket every day. But a lot of the times, the basket will have like the containers for my lunch. It'll have like my sweatshirt to take home, just like little things. But nothing. It doesn't have like full-blown grading in it anymore. We should have you on teaching tech when we do formative. Is that sure? I think Misty would know all about that because I already knew about plickers, but I got Kahoot from her. But plickers, I have a love for plickers. I love them. See, it's on their desk. Ta-da! Plickers. So we play Plickers almost every day. Today's Wednesday. We get out 30 minutes earlier, so we didn't have time to play today. Total bummer for them. So, also planning for your sub. So I have a sub tub. And I have a sub, or not a sub, volunteer. I have volunteer tubs, and I keep them up here. And so, hi Shirai. So I have my sub tub. Not my sub tub. It rhymes. That must be why I'm saying it. My volunteer tub. So like these are my copies for my volunteer. And I leave a sticky note on it. These are my homeworks. And then she's going to be doing my Scholastic book orders. So I have an example in there for her, so she knows what it looks like. And then I have everything else. But then I also, that way she never has to come back and ask me for anything. I keep a little thing full of paper clips. I keep a whiteout for whatever reason. I keep extra binder clips. I keep a little pencil thing that has a pencil, a pen, and a Sharpie in there for any reason. It's something I can grab too if I'm making big copies. So if I have to change anything last minute, I can white it out. I can do whatever. But I keep it all together. And actually, I need to put it out because I'll have 10 teachers in my room and I won't have time to get it out for my volunteer tomorrow. So I just leave it there. And then every single volunteer knows that that's where it is. So yeah. You have to find every single little shortcut to everything that you do that will make your time, because your time is so precious your first couple of years and you feel like you never leave this place. So you have to find those little things that can cut corners. So volunteers will help you cut corners because it's less time at the copy machine. Doing your grades like this is cutting corners because then you're not shuffling through one by one each paper and then entering your grades. You're just looking at one sheet. And then I also, here's something else that I do that saves me a whole lot of time. I file their papers in here first. So I have an accordion file. And then let me see if I can open it at the same time. It opens. Okay. So I have an accordion file. And so as I grade and then I write them on that piece of paper over there, I file it so it's numbers so that I don't have to change these every day. Standards based. So that wouldn't work for me. What wouldn't work for you? So it goes by numbers so I don't have to change it every year. And then after I write down all their grades on that sheet, I file them. Oh. Well, you just have to tweak it to make these like little tips work. So then I file it all right here. So all 4 of those math tests, after I enter them, they'll all be filed. So that way I'm sitting in one place and filing them all at once. And then from there, thought about using numbers for, yeah. They have numbers. And I know all their numbers too. So for me, it's easy to get through. And then from there, I just take the whole huge stack and then I file it in like their files that I keep everything in. And then I do the same thing with everything that needs to be passed back, like their end of the week tests for their reading, like vocabulary, comprehension, spelling. I put their homework for the week in their decodable books, and I put them all in here. So then that way I walk around the classroom one time. Once. Not 5 times, because I'm not walking around once for vocabulary, once for spelling, once for comprehension, once for homework, and 2 more times for decodable books. I file them and walk around one time. That is all I have time for. I don't want to walk around the class that many times. Unless you're trying to get your steps in, I don't have time for that. So this filing thing saves me a ton of time. And I file and I grade and everything as I go because I don't want to take stuff home. So my tip for today is to plan your time so that way you don't have to take stuff home and you can get out at a reasonable time. My first year, I left every day at like 7:30. 6 o'clock was like I had a great day and I left early. Exactly. Exactly, Ashley. Exactly. So you want to make sure that you can maximize everything that you have here. If you have volunteers, use them, utilize them. I have 4 this year, and they're wonderful, and they help me so much. So I make sure that I have stuff for them ready to go. That way it's less for me to have to do, and they're more than happy to do it and help me. So why not take advantage of that? I take advantage of my students. Sometimes they'll help me grade things, especially their time tests, because they love taking time tests. And so I have kids that love to grade. So I'll go through and they help me grade, saves me time. And it gets me out of work at like a decent time. So find some things that work for you that will help you leave earlier without taking stuff home. Because you need to separate your teaching life from your social life. If you don't have a social personal rest time, you're going to go insane and then go home and cry, because that's what I did my first year and a little bit last year, but it was more I had a whole lot of behaviors last year. So find what works for you and find those little corners that you can cut that can help make your day run really smooth. That way your afternoon is awesome. Yes, exactly. Burnout. That's how burnouts happen. If you don't plan ahead and you don't maximize your time and utilize what's given to you, you will burn out. Okay, that goes with last week's and the week before that. Don't compare your chapter 1 to somebody else's chapter 20. Burnout if you do that. If you take on too much, take on the world was last week. If you take on too much on your shoulders, burnout. If you're sitting here and you wait and let everything stack up and pile up on you until the end of the day or the end of the week, burnout. Okay, you have to go. Yeah, you have to go home when it's time to go home. Okay, it will all be there tomorrow. I tell myself that this year, that whatever it is that I have to do, I do it tomorrow. Like this is my note today. I have to finish my scale. And so I always leave a note right here at my little, this is my teaching desk now. It's just a table. But that's my chair, so this is my little space. And so every day I leave a little note of something I need to do. And that's the scale that I'm talking about. So that's the graph that I did. But I don't seem to be able to follow. Me neither. Hello, I'm here until 5 today. But again, it's because I have 10 teachers coming in tomorrow, and they're just going to park it in my class and watch me teach. So I have to make sure that I'm clean. But I mean, I'm pretty tidy. I usually don't leave until my priority is my table. This table has to be cleared off except for my note. And that table right there has to be cleaned off before I go. And my teaching table has to have morning work ready, their morning work pack that they get out. And so that table is cleaned. This table, all I have to do, this is what was holding my stand. This, and then these are my makeup test pile. So this is, I pull them back right here. And my aid plans go right there. Table's cleared off. I have my morning work pack right here. They get it out every morning and turn to the next page. It's out on my desk with a pencil on top, and I'm ready to go. Those are my 1, 2, 3, and I'm ready to go. Everything else, it happens. But that's just what makes me feel good coming into the day, is when my tables are cleared off, morning work is out. How many makeups can I get? 1. They get 1 retake. They get the initial lessons that we do whole class. Then they take the test with the rest of the class. If they score less than an 80%, they come back a few times and they get remediation. And then once I feel like they are understanding it, they retake the test. If they're on my list to have them tested, if I feel like something is wrong, sometimes I'll give them another shot and give them 3. Finally, study. Oh, there's groups out there. Does anyone have any ideas for Shirai? But yeah, those kids, sometimes I'll give them 3, but if they get it, they get it, and if they don't, then I just continue to pull them back. My instructional aide will continue to pull them back, and we do the best that we can. But if we fear that something is happening and we need to get them tested to see if we can get an answer to this, then we'll do that. But we just keep pulling back. And then grades will officially close when I have to put in the grades. So, but however long, I'm next week I start my math switch group, and I have all of our low kids that are still struggling with place value. So I'll have 20 kids in here that still don't know place value. Let's see, is there a chat room in your online class? Yeah, a lot of online classes do have like a chat room, or they have like a message board. If they have something like that, I know I had to do assignments, and I had to insert my assignments to the message board. And it looked like, yeah, I know, I have to do that. I have to pull out every single bag of tricks with this group because we are 101 days into the year, and we still are struggling with place value. So I'll bring out the songs, I'm breaking out the manipulatives, I'm breaking out like the big giant paper, 10s and 1s. I'm bringing it all. I have one. Oh, okay. Okay, so Julie will put that. So yes, that's my tip for you today, is just try and get home at a reasonable time. And really, like, my time is 3:30. I feel like staying an hour every day after school should pretty much do it for me, but I try and plan ahead as I go, so that way I don't feel like I need to stay any later. But if your goal is 5, set an alarm on your phone. That's what I do. My alarm goes off at 3:30 and it says go home. If your goal is to go home at 5, it's your first year and you still feel like you need a little bit more time, a couple more hours, then set your phone at 5. Tell yourself to go home and stick to it. And when you start sticking to it, like when you start leaving and feeling that initial anxiety of like, oh my gosh, I have so much to do when I left, you start to train yourself of, okay, what can I do better that will get me out of here at that time with a little bit less anxiety? And then you'll find, oh, okay, I could have done this during my prep at the same time. Yeah. So you have to find the time that works for you. I'm comfortable. Honestly, it says 3:30 and my phone goes off at 3:30. And so I know I've got about 30 minutes to book it out of here because I want to be out of here by 4. So make a reasonable time. You're going to have an initial anxiety about leaving at that time, because if you're usually a 7 o'clock teacher and your goal is like, I'm going to get out of here by 5, you will eventually find what makes you tick and get out of here at 5, where you're like, okay, I feel comfortable leaving at 5. So more of us. I am too now. Actually, I'm a arrive late, leave early now. I used to be arrive early, stay late person. Like I used to get here at 6 and then I wouldn't leave until 6. And this year I've dwindled it down. I figured out what works for me. And so now I don't get here until between 7 and 7:15, and I leave by 3:30, 4 o'clock. So look at what I've trained myself to do. I was a 6 to 6 person, and now I'm like a 7 to 4. So that's 3 extra hours that I got myself, because I just had to train myself of what I need to do to get myself to the point where I'm okay with that. So you can do it. I know you can do it. Set your time. Everybody in here, set your time. What time are you guys leaving tomorrow? I'm leaving tomorrow by no later than 4. What is your goal time tomorrow? Let me see in the comments. What's your goal time tomorrow? Mine is 4. 5. Okay, that's a good time. Anybody else? Ashley, what's your goal time? Julie, what is your goal time? Okay, 5. 5. Okay, that's a good time. Julie, what's your goal time? Are you still in here? What's your goal? But I'm glad you made goals. I really hope you stick to them and you go home and you rest. I'm almost always before 4. Good. Before dark. That's not a time. Although that is a goal. That is a really great goal. I would like to leave my house. I leave my house when the sun's down. I would like to leave when the sun is still up. That would be great. instead of working from sundown to sundown. It's a little annoying. Oh, yeah, because that's true. Well, still, 5 o'clock is a good time, though. All right, so if you didn't tell me your time, I hope you put your time in your head of what time that you're going to leave tomorrow, and make it your goal. Set your phones as soon as you're out of this scope. Set your phone, your alarm, to your goal, and tell yourself in the little notes to go home. And try your absolute hardest, knowing that you're leaving at 5, because I saw everybody said about 5, except for Julie. Have it in your head that you're leaving at 5 tomorrow, and try to get as much done as you can, and try and cut as many corners as you can to leave by that time. Okay? That's your goal. And stick to it. And I'll ask you next week who stuck to it, or I'll try and put a blurb in there in our Thursday blab, tomorrow's blab. I'll try and see how many of you left at your time. So, thank you for joining me today and inviting other followers. I will see some of you tomorrow for our Blab Thursdays, and some of you I will see on Saturday's Blab, Saturday morning. Oh, but yay, that's exciting! It's an early day then. But I hope to see all of you in both of our Blabs. It's good to support each other and be there for each other. So if you want to go, it's just Thursdays is now just like a relaxed, chill teacher chat. So come join us tomorrow. Come join us Saturday morning. And I will see you next Wednesday for New Teacher Talk Wednesday. Thanks for joining. Bye.